Welcome to another episode of Comic Book Business News. It is I, your host, Josh Goldstein, on today, 5/13/2020. It is Islam. Today on Comic Book Business News, we will explore what is happening with DC and the the graphic novels racket in comic books. But first, a little bit of the news. Joe Biden is still in the race for the presidency for the 2020. So Joe Biden is still in the race for the presidency. He's doing most of his campaigning at home. It's a little bit of a change from Bernie doing live events and shaking hands, and so Biden is kind of like Biden is, who cares about Biden? He hopefully beats Trump. It'll be interesting. I myself am sort of still kind of going to wait and see, but I'll probably vote for him. And I'm not enthusiastic for Joe Biden. And he's sort of a centrist, but a boring centrist. And he was good with Obama, but I really don't want him to be president. I don't want Trump either. I'm kind of still disappointed about Bernie. I was a big Bernie supporter. I donated heavily to Bernie and volunteered and heard him and went out to hear him speak. Whenever Bernie runs, like in 2016, I always get really into it. The comic book industry generally supported Bernie. Basically, Biden's almost like, why do you want to buy a Pinto when you can have a Chevy? Or Buick, why not the Alfa Romeo? So Bernie, I might say, I hope Biden gives him a job. Or if Biden ends up anywhere in the District of Columbia, because I hope he gives him a job, and I hope he's Secretary of State and helps him actually run a government. Also, Israel might be able to annex the Jordan Valley after all, but it won't happen till after June 1st. See, you have to wait till after June to give yourself that present. So Netanyahu will open up his new annexation. Then, meanwhile, the Palestinians are smashing on all the historical site in Judea, Samaria has testimony and significance. I myself dislike that because I'm like the artist of Maccabee Lady, and a Maccabee is a Hasmonean, and Hasmonean is a rebel who fought for ancient Jewish freedom. And why are they destroying Maccabee stuff? I don't like it. It's sort of nuts. Not a nice thing to destroy Maccabee stuff. Don't do it. And I kind of think they kind of sometimes build their argument on that. Um, they're the natives of the region. Well, then how do you have a historical basis? I mean, weren't those Palestinians that live there? You're smashing your own historical background. And oh, they were Jews, so destroy the site. Well, I guess I'm kind of taking the settlers' side because you can't even argue your direct good because you destroy history. Um, it tends to be that that our religious maniacs destroy U.S. history, so they want to preserve it as so. I am for the Antiquities Authority 100% as a former history major, uh, person who works in history occasionally, and um, so I'm, of course, having to take the Jewish side. You don't even direct it, Mr. Palestinian Authority. Don't just let them destroy the historical site. And also, meanwhile, in Turkey, they have discovered the first, the oldest temple in human history. This is almost as old as the oldest human settlements. It's going back to almost back to 10,000 BC. So some Israelis historians were working on the archaeological excavation. So it is interesting. Also, which COVID-19 vaccine will be the vaccine which will be used? It is being debated. Will it be our Wuhan vaccine, our Seattle vaccine, our English vaccine, or our Israeli vaccine? Or will it be just Tom Hanks' magic blood? So, I they are debating that in the UN, which medical branch, which I will see. I will have that information for you when it is the time. Also, here at Comic Business News, our parent studio, JLG Comics, has a new blog. If you're a blogger.com sort of guy, check me out at jlgcomics.com.blog. So there's no comics today, but comic books soon, as Savage Dragon 248 is almost out. I will review my friend's comic book, and I saw in Newsarama, Eric Larson has the historic Savage Dragon 250 almost to the presses. Apparently, Eric and Rob Liefeld, and 8 other artists did covers for Savage Dragon 250. This is a great achievement for Mr. Larson. And I gotta admit, I'm a from back in the days of my fan days. I'm a big Savage Dragon enthusiast. Glad to be a friend of Eric these days, and hope the comic book does well. It was not looking good as Savage Dragon was delayed for months and months and months. So also I would like to um also I am um currently working on 3 projects right now. One of them is I'm working on the cover for an upcoming history book called Hasmonean Kingdom. Then that's my friend historian um is writing, my friend Josh. And then my and and then I have my other book which I'm working on for a friend. I want to pitch it to a friend, and then if that guy doesn't take it, I would pitch it to my other friend, which is where I publish all my books at. And then I'm work at the same time. I'm working on Maccabee Lady Volume 4, which is going to. I'm like done this. I'm almost done the second story, partially inked, partially penciled. It's going real slow because I'm working on this other project, and then I have um I have this novel I'm going to be doing, but that's totally different than that thing will be. I'm just reprinting, not reprinting. Get a new printing of a new at my book at the new printing of an older novel that I did at another book company, which I'm not published at anymore. And well, few more things. DC is not going to give comic book shops the exclusive um, first peek at any of their graphic novels anymore. It is going to be bookstores. DC's getting ritzy. They're probably seeing um, where things are in the comic book industry, and yes, and they are they're wanting to. It's probably I don't really fully approve, but I sort of see. I do a book. I'm in the bookstore, but why not? I mean, why not? But it sort of kills the little comic book guy. Little like you like what do you just second rate? You need to give the comic book guys a little a little inch. Like if you take it all away, give it to the bookstores, do direct market and subscribe, nobody's going to make any money. Or maybe I'm just missing something. Maybe it just sounds bad. Maybe it's just I would have to really bust my financial butt to keep a store open, or it would be most comic book stores might be. Sometimes comic book stores are a scam. So So this like so only 2 or 3 would close down out of 10 comic book stores, but that's 2 or 3 stores gone, and that's 2 or 3 guys named uh, 2 or 3 old Freds closing down. So it's not nice to see a nice shop go. So you don't want to see uh the Fred guys cry. So DC, don't close down the old comic book guys, but Marvel will still cater to them because kind of like either that or they're told to follow DC. And also, I think DC's so like somebody said DC Generations was not going to happen. Now DC Generations may not be happening, but they have. But but it's like who cares? I've seen the upcoming DC comics and they look interesting. They always makes good stuff at DC. I also like the action figures they're making at DC um, lately. Like McFarlane's really doing a good job on that. Master of Kung Fu. So I actually had to kill a fly. He was Das Vermin on a stick. So anyway, um, which kind of makes me think of an actually, I was thinking of reviewing next and uh, Savage Dragon 248 and Invincible Invincible Ultimate Volume 12 and 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 it's sort of like yeah, and I might actually think I might want to if I might want to review also Dragon Ball the new Dragon Ball Z digest because occasionally here we do manga too. I'm almost thinking, okay, so it's almost time to end comic book business news for another day. So, uh, so it's I, Josh Goldstein. See you on Friday. Hope I have more stuff.